I am Dada Dharmavedananda. I have been working as a yogi with Ananda Marga for about 45 years in many different countries of the world, engaged in many different types of projects. The spiritual path for the yogi is not a matter of philosophy or belief. It is purely a matter of experience. It transcends one single enemy, and that enemy is blind belief or dogma. The yogi is in a continuous process to open her mind to the awesomeness, to the beauty of existence, and let it realize in her brain, in her heart, what it is. Without any theory. Yes, theory is there, philosophy is there, just as a background, just as an insurance policy, so that the individual doesn't feel nervous in the process. But in any case, the yogi's experience and your experience in this very moment, if you are really open-minded, is that you don't know what you're seeing or what you're hearing. You are experiencing forms, maybe. You are experiencing colors. You are experiencing changes. But is this external to yourself, or is this an internal experience? Is there an external? Or is there only an internal? Or is there only one mind? One doesn't know. And this is the beauty of existence. Those who say they know, they surely don't know. Because the mind needs to open, and the same entity, the same oneness, the same universe, the same world, it can be seen in infinite different perspectives. And each of those perspectives has some truth to it. Each of those perspectives is a reality. This is the experience of the yogi. So what is reality? It depends on one's perspective at any given time. That's why for the yogi, there are basically two realities, basically. One is the reality which is constantly changing, the relative world. The other is the reality which seems to never change, which is the experience that she gets in her deep meditation of the oneness of it all. Again, it's an experience, not a belief system. So the yogi's interest is to realize what all of this is and what I am to do. What should I do with my time, with my physical body, with my mind? This question is always there. And it's a beautiful scenario. It's an adventure which never stops. And therefore, the yogi deeply wants to maximize himself or herself. Maximize, this is the most important term in this moment, as we explain, to maximize the expression of one's potential. And the potentiality is both internal and external. The potentiality is both in the mind and in the field of action. And therefore, a real guru, a bona fide guru, a competent guru, must also have some organization which is going to give the scope for the maximization of the individual's capacity. The purpose of that organization is two. And this is the fact with Ananda Marga. two purposes. One purpose is to give some system for the person's physical and mental growth, to give some meditation, to give some yogic asana, yogic posture practice, exercises, concept of diet, concept of how to live in the world, concept of how to exercise beyond only yoga exercise, concept of how to drink water, concept of how to work. These are all not belief systems. These are practical systems. These are means for the person to be healthy and to maximize her body's activity and participation in the world. If we don't have a strong nerve system, if we don't have a healthy body, then we can't do much in this world. Maybe, but maybe one can act when one is sick, and yes, one needs to act when one is sick, but it's insufficient. If you really want to have a vital life, we should have a strong body, a strong mind, and be very active in this world, because the world is full of colors. Let us see what we're doing here, and let us do as much as we possibly can. So what does it mean to maximize one's life in the external, in the physical, in the world of colors and forms? In our internal world, in our meditation, because we experience oneness, so we feel that everyone and everything is no different than myself. And that brings love. Love means for the mother doesn't think, oh, I'm sacrificing my food or I'm sacrificing my sleep for the sake of my children. She loves her children, which means that she feels that children are a part of herself. So she's ready to do anything to help her children. In the same way, a yogi is feeling that everyone and everything is myself. And so the yogi is ready to do anything and everything in order to serve others. At the same time, keeping a balance. Because if he will serve maximally, but not take care of the body, not take care of his rest, then the result will be that he'll become sick and the amount of service he can do becomes less. So there's a balance. There's a constant dynamic that she is struggling to achieve. And the yogic path is one of continually adjusting with the realities of one's internal self, one's body, the external world, the circumstances, and then the game begins. If that base is there, the game can really become fantastic. What is that game? What is that play? It is to serve others in such a way that more and more and more people and beings, the ecology, can grow, can develop. Because the morality for the yogi means to grow myself and to help others to grow. It is not just a matter of meditation. For people who don't have food, a piece of bread is God. For people who don't have education, they're not interested to hear about meditation unless they can get a school system. They need a job also. They have fundamental needs. So the yogi thinks for what is the real need of the individual with which he's dealing, or the society with which he's dealing. Now, the fantastic thing starts to happen as the yogi realizes that everything of this world is really one mind, feels this. Perhaps I shouldn't use the word realize. Is it a truth? Is it not a truth? But feels it. Feels it in every ounce of her nerve system and blood and her mind. Feels that everything is one and acts accordingly. When this is happening, it opens the door to speed. Speed because one knows that if I'm really trying to do something which is very, very good, which is very, very dharmic means moving in the correct direction, then surely it is according to the will of the Supreme Consciousness. Surely it is according to the will of the cosmic consciousness, of the single consciousness, of the infinite consciousness, which the yogi experiences. And therefore, yogi can work knowing that the universe is going to support him. And if the universe will support, it means that whenever we need any money, whenever we need any contacts, any persons, any information, it will come when it is needed. And therefore, for example, just for example, we have the policy, my guru has given us the policy that whenever we want to do any project, we must not wait until we have all the funds necessary, like a capitalist or a businessman, before we will start the project. And we shouldn't be taking loans. Rather, we should start with a small amount so that we can begin the work, and then the money will run after us. When I was making the Anandamarga Yoga Wellness Center in the Philippines, in Cebu, I started the work with $10,000. And after a few weeks, the assistant architect came and said, Dada, I have to quit. Why? Because I see that you don't have enough money to complete the project. This is going to need at least $100,000, $120,000. And I said, well, I can't stop you. Then the architect said, the main architect said, Dada, I'm also going to have to quit for the same reason. I said, you can't, because we've already published your name in the newspaper with your architectural design, so your reputation is at stake. I told him this, smiling. And then he said, oh, yeah, all right, I'll continue until your money runs out. And 2 years later, I was giving a talk in a Rotary Club, and the architect was there. And the Rotary Club members, they asked him, what is your thinking about Anandamarga? He said, I like Anandamarga, I like everything about Anandamarga, but I could never understand one thing. Where did they get their money from? And where we get our money from, just by making effort, people see what we're doing, and they help. And it always comes. When the workers' salary needed to be paid, just in the last moment that the money was required, then somebody donates at that time. Most of the donations came from individuals who gave one time and never again, for more than 1,000 people. As we were moving around, talking about these things, doing this work, people understood. At that time, I was very active in promoting, in doing consultations, but another time, when I constructed another wellness center in India, in Anandanagar, I was too busy to do fundraising. And just I informed a few people. And still, they informed others, and whenever money was needed, it came. It's always like this. And because we know that the cosmic mind is going to organize everything so that it all falls in place as it's needed, so we can do many projects simultaneously. We plan as much as we can, but we move with a speed, a tremendous speed. For the yogi, although everything is mystical, at the same time, there's a fundamental logic to it all. The yogi understands. If she has been doing sufficient meditation and sufficient efforts, her understanding goes on growing. And she understands, why is it that everything comes just when it's needed? When you are dreaming, you never experience anything that you don't need. Never. If you wake up from your dream and you find that you've been experiencing all kinds of beautiful things are happening to you in your dream, all kinds of extraordinary things have been happening, it's nothing strange. It was a dream. You needed it, it happened. Even when you have a nightmare, for whatever reason that your mind requires, you needed it. And therefore, the world is experienced the same way by the yogi as a kind of dream. in one way, so there is a sleeper. But that's not the point. My main point here is to say that there is a single mind that is experiencing. And the mind is experiencing exactly what it needs, exactly in each moment that it needs it. So there's no surprise in this. But maybe much effort is required. Maybe tremendous effort is required. Because the cosmic mind, your cosmic self, wants you to wake up, wants you to expand your being, wants you to realize yourself. This is the nature of life, and this is the direction in which we're going, the yogi experiences. Now, Ananda Marga comes along, the Ananda Marga organization, and the Guru, Sri Sri Anandamurti, in order to give the opportunity for all of this. Because Ananda Marga, as an organization, is doing something pretty unique. It is taking a truly yogic practice, which results in very unique potentialities of each and every individual who's practicing it getting expressed. And so here it is trying to coordinate the efforts of so many diverse people, of so many nationalities, of so many different ways of thinking, even if they're from the same place, even if they're from the same culture. As their uniqueness realizes more and more, it becomes very difficult to coordinate them. And Ananda Marga is doing that difficult work. Coordinate them for what? Coordinate them to do maximum service to the society, because we cannot do so much if we are alone. We need an organization. But at the same time, we are very, you can say, tantric people. Tantric people means that we are engaged in tremendous effort to realize ourselves, because that's the nature of Tantra. So an organization of tantric people trying to work together, it's an amazing thing that Ananda Marga is doing, or at least trying to do, and more successfully, gradually, over time. And the service that we do, it is not just to run children's homes for 150 kids, or have naturopathic healing centers, or have different kinds of commercial programs which can give jobs or give financing to poor people who require it. We are doing so many multifarious types of service, and all of them are important. All are important. Legal counseling, help to homeless people, help to housewives who've been beaten, all different types of service work. Catastrophe relief work, where we rush to it wherever there's a catastrophe. I was put in charge of the work when the tremendous typhoon hit in the Philippines in 2013. And we ran there. We went to Tacloban before any other organization went. We went together with the army. They didn't even have, there was no knowledge at that time how many people had survived or what was their situation, but we were already there. And we were the only organization, the Ananda Marga Universal Relief Team, which was giving cooked food to thousands of people every day. Other organizations, beautiful organizations, we work together with all of them, but our way of working is different, and we work on a minimal budget, and we do maximum work. But it's not only this kind of work. We also need to think that the whole society is not functioning well. There is no government which is led by truly moral people. There are some places where they're trying to have moral people, like in Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, beautiful person. But this is a part of our social work, to oppose the exploitation in society, to oppose corruption which is there, to bring in a system which is going to give maximum opportunity for the all-round development of every individual. So I request that we please understand. With all of my being, I request. We're living in an extraordinary time. A time when, and this will sound very negative, but I'm extremely positive, a time when the ecology is collapsing. The economy throughout the world is totally shaky, and no economist knows when it's going to break or if it will break. When there is maximum war on this planet, when there are maximum uncertainties in every direction, when systems are breaking, while at the same time tremendous change is present, yes, there's a huge amount of negative forces at work, but there is an increasing amount of positive forces at play as well. We're living in a moment when there is going to be a tremendous change. And we want to see that happen in the most peaceful way that's possible, in the way which will cause the least amount of harm to all the individuals whom the yogi deeply loves, as hopefully I really love you as I say this from my heart, as I say that I want you to suffer as little as possible, and therefore we need to bring in the changes, the positive changes, as quickly as we can. Yes, for the yogi, time is important. Many will say, oh, it doesn't matter, we have so quote and unquote all the time in the world. No. For the yogi is in a hurry. Well, the yogi is not going to hurry in such a way that she falls down on the way. Everything in balance, but with that balance in place, as quickly as possible, let us do the greatest work that we possibly can. Now, what are we going to do about the system? The exploitative, the corrupt system, the system in which all the economy is which is shaky, the ecology is collapsing. We need a new system. And so the yogis, the best people of the world, not only the yogis and all of the good people in the world, we come along together, we put our minds together, and we create the expression of a beautiful socio-economic system. The Guru of Ananda Marga, who died in 1990, he gave a big portion of his life to give the concept of the progressive utilization theory, which in short is called PRO for progressive, U for utilization, T for theory, Prout, P-R-O-U-T, Prout. This theory, which I would request you to study, is very different than capitalism and very different than communism, and I'm working hard for its implementation. Not only directly, yes, I work directly with social workers, with economists, with politicians, with government organizations. Yes, I do. I work directly with them. But I'm also doing all kinds of social work and spiritual work, spiritual teaching, all of these things at the same time because they're all deeply related. We need moral leadership. We need progressive changes in the society. We need cooperatives. We need for people to work together with real incentives so that they're working not only for money, but also for the great pleasure of helping others to grow and develop. There's a change which is happening in the consciousness of humanity. Are you going to participate deeply, fully? I am. I want to participate with every cell, with every ounce of my being, to bring about the progressive and positive changes which the world requires, which, because it requires, it is going to happen. If you don't play a role, somebody else will play a role. Do you want to have fun? I want to have fun, because fun means my life becomes extremely meaningful. And I go at such a speed that all of the things which are required, they have to adjust, they have to fall into place. This is maximally entertaining. And what does the cosmic mind want? Why has the cosmic mind created all of this diversity, all of this drama, Suffering is there. People are suffering like anything. People die like anything. Why? If you see a movie that you really love, in that movie, definitely there's suffering. Definitely there's struggle. There's also laughter. There's also all kinds of joy. In a good movie, you will not only laugh, you will also cry. And when you leave the movie, you'll say, oh, that was great. And the cosmic mind wants that also. The movie that we are experiencing is an amazing movie. But we cannot just say, oh, suffering, it is going on, it is natural, it doesn't matter. No, for the characters in the movie, the character who you love, that character will do everything to serve the others with every ounce of her being, even if it makes her sweat, even if it makes her exhausted, even if she cannot get food when she needs it because she's engaged in the service or she's engaged in the struggle. This is fun. This is the cosmic enjoyment. I love that enjoyment, and I love that service, and I love trying to give my everything. And I welcome you onto that very path. To realize internally and externally the entire purpose of existence. Of course, the yogis are making effort, a lot of effort, internally, externally, in their meditation, in their service. It's a little bit tiring from time to time. And therefore, the yogis need to come together, to merge their meditative vibrations together very strongly for the sake of their inspiration, and then it becomes easier to go on, and thus the purpose of a retreat. A retreat where we do collective, as many people as possible, including both senior meditators and very beginning people. Everyone is helping in the collective vibration, and it becomes very strong when we do not only meditation together, but especially when we're chanting and dancing to mantra, which is called kirtan, in a systematic but beautiful fashion, with many different types of tunes, so that the minds of all of the yogis is very inspired and entertained. And that in such a retreat that we're having here in Mersing, Malaysia, wonderful, here on the beach, with 250 people or so. A lot of kirtans, a lot of meditations, and a lot of discussions about how we can do our practice nicely, how we can be better people, and we become charged. We become charged spiritually and psychically and socially, and then it becomes easy for us to go home and continue until we have collective meditation every week, and that's so much important. But eventually, after some months, again another retreat, charging us, and then back into the field to do our noble efforts of serving society and developing ourselves. So it's wonderful, and I'm enjoying it like anything, to be here with all the sincere people of Southeast Asia who had the possibility to come to our program. I wish you could be here to experience such a beautiful retreat we're having here in Mersing, Malaysia, where all the yogis, the advanced and the beginners come together, and we collect our vibrations through our meditation, through our chanting of mantra and the dance that goes together with it called kirtan. Such a flow. In the midst of, we've come from our struggles. We've come from our social work. We've come from our family all of the difficulties of our family life. Of course, I don't have a family except you all. We've come from the struggle of the meditation itself. There's exhaustion, there's efforts in our lives. It is natural. And we need a time to become inspired and to get recharged. And thus the purpose of a retreat. And this retreat is just perfect. With more than 250 people present from all over Southeast Asia, in such an environment with this beach, it's wonderful. I love it, and I hope the next time that we make this kind of program, that you can also be present. If not, if you're listening in another part of the world, may you experience this kind of retreat elsewhere. And that's our duty, to make these kind of retreats. That is one small duty that we have among all the multifarious aspects and different kinds of work that we have to do. But retreat is vital. Oh, how I wish you were here to experience this. You would love it. Here, we've come, all the yogis have come, the beginning yogis, the advanced yogis, over 250 of us, have come from our lives of struggle and effort to serve our families, although my only family is you all. But most of the people who come here are, of course, family people. Normal people, yes, I would say, I guess you would say normal people. Wonderful people, except that they're wonderful, they're positive people. This is a collection of positive people who come together because they want to become so much better. And yet at the same time, they have become a little bit tired from all the efforts that they're making in their social life, in their family life, in their spiritual life. And we need recharging, and thus we have retreats. And in this retreat here in Mersing, Malaysia, where we have over 250 beautiful, sincere souls, I love it. There's such a program that makes it comfortable and inspiring and not religious. Not religious means not full of belief systems or propaganda, but rather breaking through the layers of dogma, because that's fundamental. That is the only enemy that each of us has on the spiritual path, our blind beliefs. So breaking through that dogma is the purpose of our classes here, to see things as open-mindedly as possible, but as practically and meaningfully as possible. So we have classes, definitely, not to brainwash, but to open the mind. And of course, it's got to be in a good environment. So this beautiful place, and the environment is not only the beautiful place, but also the food. Food is very tasty, but very healthy. Can you imagine these two factors together? Very healthy, but very, you would think it's not possible, but it is. And every day, twice a day, there's yoga classes. So people are dealing with improving their health, breathing the air, moving together with people with whom they can speak very beautifully, keeping busy in a program which is at the same time, there's always something to do, but still very relaxing. This is a retreat. This is the means of getting ourselves recharged so that we can easily go back to our lives and feel inspired and go on with our noble efforts to increase our own consciousness, to help others to increase theirs, to serve people who are in need, to serve our families, to fulfill the purpose of life. We need this help, and we get it because we need it. So we offer it, and here you are. I hope the next time, no matter where you are in the world, that you have the need of this kind of a program, you will find it, and you will enjoy it tremendously, as I am. Thank you.